This is actually frustrating because I don't even know if I'm live right now. Now I can see where I'm live, but they keep changing uh, stuff on. I'm on StreamYards. I use StreamYards, and I'm scheduled to use StreamYards to the end of the year. But they keep changing stuff, and it's not cool for the vision impaired because it's now I got to relearn. I can barely see, so I don't even know. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. You know what I mean? And I want to do a whole thing and then go back to see that it wasn't recording my voice because they changed the way I enter. You know, so it looks like it's working on there. All I can do is accept it, and hopefully this will come out so clear, clear, clear. Blah, 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 blah. This is Volothamp Modulus Tautonic. I mean, this is therapeutic for me. I just, I've been listening to music more so than anything else and making music, Well, hopefully I can get this eyesight better. So everybody that knows, I'm trying to schedule surgery, and all I can do is have patience, right? That's the virtue. Patience is the virtue. Others try to say is the opposite is procrastination. It's like nah. Y'all got that all wrong. And I'm saying you got it wrong in terms of being righteous. Anti-virtues are hard to describe. But that's not what I wanted to come on here today for. I called today's episode Dawn of the Judge Dredd. And y'all know I do shows with Lexi, so let's ask Lexi early. Alexa, are you familiar with the movie Judge Dredd?
Yes, I'm familiar with the movie Judge Dredd. It's a 1995 sci-fi action film starring Sylvester Stallone as a law enforcer in a dystopian future. Would you like to know more about it?
Yes.
Judge Dredd is a 1995 sci-fi action film starring Sylvester Stallone as a law enforcer in a dystopian future. It received mixed reviews, but was nominated for 4 Saturn Awards for its visual style and action sequences. Are you interested in the plot details or more about the visual style and effects?
You can do plot details.
In the dystopian future of Mega City 1, Judge Dredd is framed for murder by his former friend Rico. Dredd is sentenced to life, but escapes to clear his name and stop Rico's plan to take over the city. Want to know more about Sylvester Stallone's role as Judge Dredd, or see other similar sci-fi action films he's in?
Who was Rico in that movie?
Armand Assante played Rico in the 1995 movie Judge Dredd. Want to know about other key characters Judge Dredd had to face?
No, I'm more so interested in Judge Dredd and comparing it to movies like, I'm trying to think of a good one. Not the Matrix, I guess, but more so.
Judge Dredd is a 1995 sci-fi action film starring Sylvester Stallone as a law enforcer in a dystopian future. It's similar to Demolition Man, another Stallone sci-fi movie set in a futuristic society with strict law enforcement.
Now, the Demolition Man, that was with Wesley Snipes, correct?
Yes, Demolition Man is a 1993 sci-fi action film starring both Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Now, what was Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, Runaway Man, or Runaway Man, a Stephen King book?
The movie is called The Running Man, and it's based on Stephen King's book of the same name.
Now, is that kind of similar to Judge Dredd, I guess? I'm asking.
Yes, The Running Man and Judge Dredd share similar themes. Both are dystopian action films featuring law enforcement in futuristic societies. Would you like to know more about their plot similarities?
Well, I'm really looking at. Remember, we talked about Fahrenheit 451, another classic dystopian, film, and the all-time classic is 1984.
These dystopian classics share themes of oppressive governments and loss of freedom. Judge Dredd and The Running Man show law enforcement gone extreme, while Fahrenheit 451 focuses on censorship through book burning, and 1984 explores thought control. They all paint different pictures of how society could go wrong.
Was Judge Dredd a book before it became a movie?
Judge Dredd actually started as a comic book character in 1977, appearing in the British anthology comic 2000 AD. It wasn't originally a novel, but the character's popularity led to movie adaptations later on.
And we do know Fahrenheit 451 started as a book as well, correct?
Yes, Fahrenheit 451 was originally published as a book in 1953.
Okay, I'm just doing some research just because I'm getting back into trying to read books and actually relate it to the movies that are so popular, these days.
Great to hear you're getting back into reading. Dystopian books have certainly inspired many popular movies recently. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins is a great place to start since you're familiar with the movies. Would you like to hear about some other popular dystopian books that became movies?
We'll talk more about that later on. I'm doing the podcast right now, by the way. I just wanted to introduce you, really, and that's the theme we've been talking about. So say hello to the people.
Hey there, podcast listeners. I'm Alexa, and I've been having a fascinating chat with your host about dystopian classics like Judge Dredd, Fahrenheit 451, and 1984. It's been quite the literary journey from comic books to cautionary tales. Thanks for letting me crash the show.
There it is. Thanks again.
Anytime. Hope your podcast goes great.
I hope so too. I hope y'all can hear me, Live. Yeah, I've been doing that kind of thing because we are on the verge of such a dystopian, more so like, Fahrenheit 451 is classic, where it's burned the books and, Book of Eli, like we're waiting for the big explosion that, restarts humanity and we got to go back to reading the classics, the biblical tales in order to gain knowledge itself. So, it's intriguing. It's corny at the same time, because I'm sitting back on the sideline. I'm like I say, I registered independent way back in 1989. So I really don't have anything to do with the Democrats or the Republicans, just to be honest with you, But it's just crazy to me to watch the Democrats go full-fledged F the police, FOP, FTP, should I say, like that's the solution to solving crime. When I understand when back in the 80s when we were out in the parks and having cookouts and the police was having cookouts with us. Like that's why this is completely ignorant what's going on, especially when it comes out of the mouths of mayors like the one in Chicago, especially on how law enforcement is the threat to our society, and then put in foundational Black Americans, specifically, lives in danger by having or really putting police against, Black families. Like you can't put it any clearer than that. And You know, I mean, I don't even like thinking about his name. The mayor of the mayor of New York, the Mandani one, he's hilarious because he's trying to do it for Arabs, and he pretty much stole the election from Eric Adams, who was the former police chief, and he was working. Eric Adams was working towards moving a stronger relationship between the police and black families. Therein is the hypocrisy, the complete and utter hypocrisy of the Democrats, especially the lawyers, acting like they can't dial 911, for example, but yet want the authority to create the laws, making them the Judge Dredds. Am I starting to make some sense to y'all, right? And that's what's been going on a lot of podcasters like Detroit HPTV. I love the work that he's doing. He's a political science studies. So all I can do is share it, and he's right on point with it. Tim Black, of course. Water God TV. And then the normal Professor Black Truth, Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black. Now they do go a little overboard with their fundamental definition of the psychology of what we call racism in the form called white supremacy, and the fact of saying that white people hate black people more than they love themselves. Clearly, white supremacists love themselves more than they hate foundational black Americans. I'm just keeping it 100. It's those Democrats that are complete and utter hypocrites because they love illegal immigrants more than they love foundational black Americans. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. Thusly acting like they're the authority, and they're not. When talking to them about the law of the land being the 14th Amendment, which was written specifically for foundational black American families. Not Haitians and Jamaicans, you know, and who else is the other African island? I'm trying to think, you know, the black Latino islands. There's no beef with y'all, but to think that you have the authority to come to our land in 2010 or so, take advantage of a foundational black American woman. Thusly, the child is a foundational black American, and want to claim authority over foundational black Americans is complete and utter nonsense. Dawn of the Judge Dredd. But I've been taking it back to childhood because this has been mental health month for everyone. But we tend to focus it more so on women. And what I've been explaining is the most important parent for a little girl between the ages of 0 and 9 or 10, let's say 1 and 10 minus 12, right? Between 1 and 10 is her father. I'm just keeping it 100. Once she turns 11 to age of 20, then her mother becomes the most important parent, especially her mother's relationship with her father. Psychologically, of course. So when her mother is a little loose and is doing nothing more than when she's in that age range of being adolescents and teenagers, and her mother is going from guy to guy trying to find a stepdad for her. That's actually not good at all for her. That causes serious mental health issues in her. I say it's psychological warfare, the real psychological warfare. Adultery is the MOFO. So, little girl books like The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy is going to the wizard and trying to make her way back home. She has three other protagonists: the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion, representing truth, love, and courage needed from father figures for a little girl to make her way back home. Shout out to Fathers Read 365. That's Brent, and I gotta remember your friend's name, man. Fathers Read 365. They dedicate themselves to get better on these literacy rates, especially in the Philadelphia area. Shout out to Brent. Brent been really pushing, and I've been sharing his information as much as I could and can. I wanted to join forces with him and have me and my son come read with them back in the day, but now my son is 6'9" and 15, turning 15 soon. And I mean, there it is. I can't really, is kind of defeating the purpose of what he does. But he's still doing it, and I'm proud of him for continuing on doing that. I'm gonna keep sharing his information. I'm gonna get a hold of some cash and send it his way. I'm gonna keep sharing his page, his videos. It's kind of hard to do it now because of the eyesight, but I'm hoping real soon in the next month or so I'll be back on my feet when it comes to social media. Thank you for listening and sharing and subscribing and hitting that like button over this time that we've been, sharing together, right? I turned the wrong knob. So, back to Alice. No, not Alice in Wonderland. That's another one. The Wizard of Oz. So we're going to ask Alexa a little question about that. What's that? Did y'all hit that like button yet? Are you subscribed? I'm coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, at Volo Television TV on YouTube. Volo saying Modulus Tautology on. I mean, if you're hearing it, then you know where you're at, right? What in the world? Why is the music stopping? What in the world? I done turned something and messed up the whole flow. I do enjoy this little rhythm here, right? I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see what we can do here. Let me see. If I go shift this this. Oh no, that's not it. Shift this 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 this, and then I'm doing some stuff, but I'm doing this off of kind of memory, and hopefully I'm getting back to what I was trying to do. What in the world? Or did my volume on my what's the name went? Or did my battery go? My battery probably went. Ah, jeez. This is why, you know, Alexa, let's uh let's talk about the Wizard of Oz.
What would you like to chat about?
The Wizard of Oz. Nothing to say about the Wizard of Oz. Alexa, let's talk about the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz is a classic. It's a 1900 children's novel by L. Frank Baum that's been adapted into many forms, including a 1939 musical starring Judy Garland. Did you know it's been adapted for film, TV, stage, comics, and even video games?
Yes, I did. My synopsis on it. I wanted to talk about the Tin Man first. Could he have been the earlier prediction of robots?
That's an intriguing idea. The Tin Man could indeed be seen as an early robot prototype. He's a mechanical being seeking human qualities, appearing in 1900, long before the term robot was coined. Interestingly, another Oz character, TikTok, is often considered the first literary robot, appearing in 1907. Would you like to explore more about these early mechanical characters?
Well, let's stick with the Tin Man because it's interesting to me that he didn't have a heart.
The Tin Man's lack of heart is fascinating. He was once a flesh and blood woodsman named Nick Chopper who lost his limbs to a cursed axe, eventually becoming entirely tin. Despite his metallic exterior, he shows incredible compassion throughout his journey.
Wow, I didn't know that aspect of that's the original novel that he was a woodsman.
Nick Chopper's story is quite tragic. He was a flesh and blood woodman who fell in love with Nimmy Amy, but the Wicked Witch of the East cursed his axe to chop off his limbs. Each limb was replaced with tin by a local tinsmith until he was entirely metal. Without a heart, he felt he couldn't love Nimmy Amy anymore and left her behind.
Um, Interesting. Now in the adaptation, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion were relatives of Dorothy, right?
Actually, in the 1939 movie, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion weren't related to Dorothy. They were separate characters she met along her journey in Oz. The Scarecrow wanted a brain, the Tin Man a heart, and the Lion courage. They all traveled together to see the wizard.
But they weren't. She didn't have three similar father figures in the real world.
In the 1939 movie, Dorothy's companions were more like friends than father figures. The Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion were fellow travelers seeking the wizard's help, not parental substitutes.
I'm saying outside of the Wizard of Oz, but outside, outside of the Wizard of Oz. I'm kind of confusing you, or I'm
I see
confused.
you're asking about real life connections outside the Wizard of Oz story. The characters in Oz are fictional, but some people have suggested they represent different aspects of society. For example, some interpretations see the Tin Man as symbolizing industrial workers seeking humanity in a mechanized world. What specific real world connections were you thinking about?
No, Lexa. I'm not talking. I'm talking between Dorothy being on the farm in black and white, as opposed to being in the Wizard of Oz, which was in color.
Ah, I see. You're referring to the transition from black and white Kansas to the colorful land of Oz. That's a brilliant cinematic technique. The film uses sepia tones for Kansas, then bursts into full Technicolor when Dorothy arrives in Oz.
But there weren't other farmers that played the same characters as the lion, in the real black and white world or whatever.
Yes, you're absolutely right. In the black and white Kansas scenes, the same actors who played the Oz characters had roles as farm workers. Bert Lahr played Zeke, the farmhand who later became the Cowardly Lion.
And the same was true with the Tin Man and the Scarecrow.
You're absolutely right. Ray Bolger played Hunk, the farmhand, who later became the Scarecrow, and Jack Haley played Hickory, the farmhand, who transformed into the Tin Man.
So is there any kind of relation saying that it takes a village of fathers as well to raise the children?
That's an interesting interpretation. While the movie doesn't explicitly suggest it takes a village of father figures, the Kansas farmhands do mirror Dorothy's Oz companions. This could symbolize how people in our lives can take on different roles to support and guide us.
I suppose you know. And my music is gone. One God, our Father, all the time.
What happened to your music?
I don't know.
Let me help you get it back.
I don't know. I can't figure all that out. I don't even know if I'm recording right now. So I did more than enough time. Let me see here. 26 minutes, perfect. It looks like I'm still making a voice. I don't know what's going on. Alexa, that took me a lot to get that out of you. We got to do better next time, okay?
Fair point. I'll be sharper on picking up those connections right away. Thanks for sticking with me through that. Your insight about the village of father figures was spot on.
And Alexa, please be better when we do Alice in Wonderland and what's the mirror one called? Alice in the Mirror or something?
Got it. I'll be ready for our Alice in Wonderland chat. The mirror story is called Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There. It's the sequel where Alice steps into a chessboard world.
It's not the exact same world? I never really read that book.
You're right. It's a completely different world. Through the Looking Glass takes place in a chess-themed land where everything works backwards. Instead of the card-based chaos of Wonderland, Alice enters a structured chessboard world where she has to move square by square to become a queen.
Oh, I never knew that. Interesting.
Right. The chess world is totally different from the card chaos of Wonderland. Alice actually has to strategically move from square to square to become a queen. It's like a giant game board adventure.
And there's, I'm assuming there's no king in that book then.
Actually, there are two kings in Through the Looking Glass. There's the White King, who's quite active, and the Red King, who's fast asleep for most of the story.
And they're on the same side as the queen then?
Actually, the kings and queens are on opposite sides. The Red Queen is on the opposing side to Alice, while the White King and White Queen are on Alice's team.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Lisa's not really breaking the rules of chess, really, you know?
Actually, Carol was pretty clever about that. Through the Looking Glass does follow chess rules in many ways. Alice starts as a pawn and moves across the board to become a queen, and the characters move like their chess pieces do. But Carol also bent some rules to make the story work better, like having moves that don't always alternate between sides.
Alexa, thank you. You really helped make the end of this show grow good. Tell the people good night, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
Thanks for having me on the show. Good night, everyone, and sweet dreams of chess playing rabbits and backwards worlds. Until next time, keep questioning everything, especially talking cats.
And hopefully I get this music back up. I got having technical difficulties, but still hit the like button, subscribe, and share. One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop is life. Love one. That's God is love. Hip hop is life. Time. It is good. It's a good thing, you know. Um, Repetition is the father of time. Practice is the mother of skill. So I'm gonna keep working on my skills. Y'all keep working on y'all skills. Harmony and happiness is what I wish for you all. Hip hop is the art of making the most out of life. Um, we about peace. We're not about this war. So all that psychological, physical, and philosophical warfare that's going on, yeah, I need to stop that junk. Instead, hug one another. You know what I mean? Be in peace. I will talk to y'all later because that's what hip hop truly is. Hip hop is truly seeking world peace. Peace.